A lot of people wondering where this primate could have come from. Well, we talked to the Bayou Animal Services. They tell us they've checked all of the licensed monkey owners in Galveston County, and all of their animals are accounted for. So this animal that they're searching for, they figure is just an unlicensed monkey owned by someone in this area. But they've had drones up over this area. They've been searching the woods today, trying to find it. Right now, a primate search team is out here looking for it. They tell me they're going to be out here as long as it takes to find this monkey or chimpanzee, whatever it might be.
If you've watched my channel, you've probably heard about me talk about this before, and that is the Mystery Ape sighting spree. It took place in East Texas, specifically a town called Santa Fe, Texas in 2019. And we really never got any explanation as to whatever this thing was, if it was a escaped monkey, or we really don't even know what kind of ape or monkey this was. But we do know multiple people called 911 in a 1-day period, 2-day period. We have if you've seen the channel, you've seen me talk about the 3 911 phone calls that I received. They were all made in 1 day. I got those to a Freedom of Information Act request. And I was really trying to get the phone calls from these 911 events that took place. But unfortunately, after doing the digging, it seems like the sheriff's office there only keeps the calls after a certain amount of time, and after that they are destroyed. So unfortunately, we're never going to hear those 911 calls, which really sucks, because I think they might have given a little bit more description in the calls as to what we have on the reports. And I'm going to show the reports here. If you've seen some of my other videos, you've seen me show some of these reports at least. But the reason I'm making this video is because I've had some updates in my second FOIA request looking into this event. Now, I know the majority of these calls were handled by the Santa Fe Sheriff's Office, or the Santa Fe Police Department that handled these calls. And that's really all we know. We don't really know what ended up transpiring at these calls. We have some really short files that don't give much description. There are some keywords in there that I'm going to go over. The second FOIA request I did really showed me some interesting data that I received. Not only did I get another 911 call, which was before all the other calls came in. It's from a neighboring city, League City. But I also got an internal email from someone pretty high up in that city there, League City. And it gives a description of what was going on. And it really kind of finalizes, I think, what people were seeing out there, because now we're getting it from a kind of a higher level source of what was being seen and what this thing was doing. It was always kind of rumored that this thing was violent. No one really knows how the story got out about this thing being violent. None of the reports say anything about it being violent. I'm going to go over the reports here shortly. But that's the other thing, is that there's a lot of misconceptions and a lot of weird stuff that has been associated with these series of events. People that haven't done the FOIA requests, that don't have the reports, are talking about it. I've heard them on podcasts saying that it's like a 8-foot tall Bigfoot creature that was lurking around, and that's just really unfounded. None of that stuff's in the reports. And I think if you're going to talk about it, you should at least have some type of data before you talk about it. That's just my little 2 cents there. But I'm going to go ahead and show you guys these files and talk about the whole series of events that took place. And at the end, I'm going to go ahead and show you the recent FOIA request results. So really, the only person that talked to the media was just an older Hispanic woman that had called initially about a monkey that was looking through her trash.
I hear noises at 2 o'clock. I'm still awake. And then I see through the window and I see there isn't there. It was a monkey. A big one. He tried to find something in there, and then he looked over there, and then he tried to look over there and then close the curtain. I don't want to see over there and see me.
Unfortunately, that's never described in any of the reports. But I do think it is interesting, her description of what she's seeing. She's saying that it was tall. She says big. And she also mentions it like lifting up the lid or like digging through the trash. If you're going to be that high up, you're not going to be a small little capuchin monkey to get to the top of the trash can. That's not going to happen. You got to be bigger than that. So it's really interesting that that's really the only person that went on camera kind of describing what they had seen. I thought that was really interesting. The media was kind of having a field day about what was going on. You were hearing all types of reports about like this thing was like a wild, rabies monkey, attacking people.
So a chimpanzee in Texas is now in its second full day on the run. The animal has been on the loose since Monday near Houston, and reports say the chimp has been harassing people and dogs.
Harassing people and dogs. There are also unverified claims that it tried to grab a cat. Primate experts have been called in to help with the search, and officials are using a drone to try to track it down.
Some advice here: don't approach, don't chase, don't try and catch the primate.
Other people saying there was like just like a little spider monkey or something like that. We really don't have a solid idea of where the attacking part of this whole story came from. It just seemed like the media heard about it and they kind of ran with it. They mentioned that this thing was also chasing people's pets, cats and dogs. And it's just really, really kind of weird that none of the reports that I've received in 2 FOIA requests have mentioned any type of animal attack or anything that might have sparked really this manhunt for this escaped wild, bloodthirsty ape. It's kind of interesting that, we don't have anything solid on that. So I spoke with someone that was employed with the company that the city, Santa Fe, hired to look for this wild ape. And they had drones in the air. They had dogs out there. They had different man teams going around. And they never found anything, which is just really kind of wild when you think about it. Having, all the modern technology and not being able to find anything out there. During one of the news interviews where they were on site, checking out the area, a guy rolls up and talks to the reporter and basically says that they had seen, someone had seen the monkey just right around the corner.
A few people just stopped by as we were standing here waiting to go live. They told us that monkey was seen 10 minutes ago, so we're about to head over to that area.
So the first report shows the location as 19th Street and Avenue O, and the nature is described as the animal control problem. It is an event report from the Santa Fe Police Department. You can see there at the top. Also in the notes, we can see event spawn from LCPD event. And there's an event ID there. There's a call reference number. And that's going to come into play here when I show you guys the next FOIA request that I did. We see that the game warden is advised we'll be speaking with the animal control officer about the issue, possible monkey sighting. This call came in at 10:04 a.m. So it was an early morning call. And the last call that we can see is like almost close to midnight. So people are still reporting this thing, several hours, at least 12 hours after the initial call came in. And that's just kind of crazy that this thing was on the loose and could, no one ever found it. I was going to say could possibly be on the loose, but no one ever found this thing. Whatever it was, we have no answers for what it was, where it was, how it was hiding, none of that stuff. So it's really one of the more interesting cases I've heard about and I've been able to get FOIA requests for. The second call comes in and it looks like it's been upgraded. At first, it was an animal control issue, and then it evolved to a suspicious person. The notes you can see there, here's Howley, thinks it may be ape on the loose. UTL on ape. That's the other thing, is that we went from a monkey sighting, animal control, to a suspicious person, ape. To me, that just says bigger in my mind. The last call we have came in at 11:10 p.m. Central Time, and it is at the location of Ash Road and Cedar Street, which is a really far distance as to where the first call came in. It's just, that thing was able to travel that far. And I mean, I guess people were seeing it because people were saying, oh, monkey sighting over there. Why weren't they able to get a picture of it? Or why weren't they able to get, was it just that fast? Or was it just, I don't know. Now, from that last call that came in 11 p.m. from the FOIA request that I did, we could see at the bottom of the notes, caller advises he hears primates. And then we see that it's a welfare check, possible visual. So we have a woman seeing this and going on the news. She called and reported it. The next day she's on the news talking about it, giving a description of what she saw. That's the only person that came forward, at least on camera, saying that they saw whatever this thing was. They didn't describe it as a monkey. They described it as tall, big, and looking through garbage cans or whatever. But this also kind of insinuates that it's bigger. Here's primates. Caller here's primates. Why don't you say monkey? That's interesting to me. And possible visual. I would have loved to have that 911 call with this guy. How do we know it's a possible visual? Was he saying like, oh, I'm looking at it right now, or like, it looks like, 5 feet tall. Did he give a description of it? We're never going to know that because unfortunately they destroyed the phone calls after a certain amount of time, which really freaking sucks. But whatever. Um, and that's really all the information that we have here uh, to go on. These 3 reports from the FOIA request and the media coverage, and you have to try to build a story around that. That wasn't until I did my second FOIA request and received some really interesting information that I think confirms some portion of what was going on, that at first was just kind of, rumors or stuff that was circulating around. I think this kind of confirms what I received from the FOIA request, what people were seeing, and I think you'll have to see what I mean when I show you the documents. The second FOIA request I did shortly after the first one, after maybe a few months after I received the 3 reports that were taken on the same day. So I did the second FOIA request, submitted it, and a little bit of back and forth between me and the records people there, but I ended up getting the records and of what they had, and it's interesting. It's not much, but I have another report that was also part of this day, so it looks like we're getting like 4 911 reports that were taken on the same day, 2 possibly for the same vet, but it's interesting the difference in detail of one report to the next. I'm going to go over that. Not only did I get that last report, but I also got an internal email that is from a neighboring city, which I think is really interesting because it's kind of the upper brass, in my opinion, of that city, and they're communicating of what's going on. And it's really interesting how they describe it. And to me, it kind of feels like they are confirming at least some aspects of what was going on in the story that, the media had kind of grabbed onto and other stuff. But let me go ahead and go over this last report that I received from the FOIA request. There at the top, you can see it's from the League City Police Department. We have the date received as 11:15 a.m. Now, it's interesting because the first report that I had from the first FOIA request that I did, the call came in and it is at 10 a.m. So that report says it came in earlier, but this one says 11. Maybe it's just some communication issues, getting the time wrong. But we can see there it says Nature Assist by Law. Caller, Bayou Animal Services. Now, I don't believe this is correct. From what I understand, Bayou Animal Services was the company that was enlisted outside by the outside company that was hired by the city to help look for this escaped monkey and escaped ape. I believe they were hired to tranquilize whatever this thing was. And we can see at the notes there at the bottom, which is really interesting. Possible monkey sighting, 10:04 a.m. Game warden. Game warden advised he will be speaking with the ACO about the issue. Then we have per 1190, send 1199. I guess that's just some police chatter. ACO contact, I believe it's animal control contact on LOC Sarah, and we have some numbers there. Will need drone. And we do know that their drone was put in the air. Checked area with drone, unable to locate monkey. And this is about 1:01 p.m. So they searched for it for several hours in a location where you'd think you'd be able to find something with all those people on the ground and drones in the air. They didn't come up with anything, which is like, what the heck was going on? Was it just, somebody found it and picked it up and didn't report it? Or was it something that, we can't really explain going on here? I've had several people reach out to me with different stories after they saw my reporting on this. Different stories saying who was involved in what, and very interesting stuff, but really no hard data they can support with. And again, I know at the beginning I was talking about people that kind of hijacked this and promoted it for their own purposes, whether it's in a book or on a podcast, really embellishing what was going on. And again, they never had any of the actual documents that I received doing the FOIA request. They were only going off the media reports, and the media was having a field day of this stuff going on. They were saying all types of stuff. So, at one point, it was reported that the police department had video of this ape, and they came out saying that they had video of it on their social media accounts. Shortly after that, they had to retract it, saying, oh, no, we got it wrong. We don't have video of it. So which one was it? What was going on here? Again, we have reports of this thing being wild, being attacking people, children, and dogs. None of that's in the reports that I've gone over that I've showed you, but it is in the email. The email that I'm going to show you guys, and I think that's really interesting. This is an internal email that was really never supposed to see the light of day. I received it through a FOIA request as part of this information packet that I received, and I'm going to go ahead and show it to you guys. This email that you're going to see, I have redacted myself, asked to not dox these people. I've redacted their identities and their phone numbers, but I received it unredacted, and I am going to release that on my Patreon and in my book. So if you want to see, if you want to see all the information, please check out my book that will be coming out soon. And if you want to see it right now, you'll be able to check out my Patreon and see immediately. So the first thing is the title of this internal email is OMG. Oh my God, is literally the title of this email, the subject. So this email is from the deputy court clerk of the city to an outside person that does not work for the city. And I'm definitely not going to mention that company or that email because that is a giant company that could really destroy anybody in its path. So definitely not going to name that, but it is from a person high up in the city to an outside source. The title of it is OMG. Subject is OMG. This was on September 10th, 2019 at 11:15 a.m. So right after that first call came in, this hit the offices there, the internal offices, law enforcement offices, the county offices, city offices, and people were talking about it. And this is what they were talking about. OMG, there is a loose monkey out in Santa Fe, Texas. It is between 3 to 4 feet tall and attacking people. What the heck? It's been missing and out and about since Friday. So those timelines definitely don't match up. Because they're saying in this email from the county clerk to an outside source that this started on a Friday. All the initial reports that came in were on a Tuesday. So this thing was on the loose for like 4 days running around. And the sheriff did have to come out and make a statement about what was going on. They made a public service thing saying, hey, if you see an ape in the area, do not approach it. Don't try to capture it. Just call law enforcement. So definitely taking this thing seriously. People in the area were concerned about what was going on. It was just a really wild and crazy story. And we really never got an answer as to what this thing was. All the apes in the area were accounted for. They checked with registered animal owners. No apes had gone missing or reported missing. And the other thing is that the county clerk, the person in the offices there for the city, kind of spreading that, saying that this thing was attacking people. What the heck was that about? Where was the reports about the attacks? Were those attacks happening earlier? Do I need to do a FOIA request back earlier on those dates as to, maybe Friday or whatever? And I might look into that, doing some more FOIA requests. It just really opened up kind of a Pandora's box as far as, maybe there is further reports. Maybe this thing really didn't get reported until, multiple people started seeing it in one day. Maybe it was just, one person saw it here, whatever, reported it, and the news really didn't pick up on it. So I'm really going to have to do some more digging into this, kind of looking into what was going on. Is there more information? Obviously, we probably won't get the phone calls if there are any phone calls because they destroy them after a certain amount of time. But hopefully, if there is anything, maybe we'll get some more internal emails. Maybe we'll get some more reports possibly if that indeed was happening. But I think it's really interesting that we have an official email that was really never supposed to see the light of day to the public, kind of being sent over saying all this stuff was going on. 3 to 4 foot ape attacking people. That doesn't sound like a capuchin monkey to me. Something bigger, something that's can lean over and dig in a trash can. All this weird stuff. But that's really about it. That's all the information. And if you want to stay updated on this, please like and subscribe to my channel. If you want to join my Patreon, I really appreciate it. Please consider joining my Patreon. I have a lot of the documentation that you see on these videos, and that's going to be my book already out on my Patreon. So please consider joining my Patreon. It really helps me funding for getting other reports. Right now, I'm trying to get over around 200 emails from the Florida Parks Department in Florida. So hopefully I'll be able to get those. If you've seen the channel, you've seen me talk about some of these emails and reports that I've gotten from Florida, internal stuff, and it's really interesting. And I plan on doing a compilation video maybe, or a longer video kind of explaining all the emails I've received so far from the Florida Parks Department, because there is some interesting stuff in there. You've probably seen me talk about it. And the more recent ones I haven't done, the more recent FOIAs I've done, haven't done a video on those. So I'd like to do a video on those because that information in itself is really going to kind of solve some questions people have as to, certain documentation. I know there's a document floating around in Florida about the, like a hunting document brochure, and it says you can't hunt a skunk ape or whatever, skunk apes in there. So I have the absolute, without a doubt, where that came from. I received where that came from in my emails. It is documented. So if you want to see that, it's going to be on my Patreon, and I'm going to make a video about that here soon. So please check it out. And also, just reminded me right now, talking about this, I'm also going to talk about another event that took place in Cincinnati, Ohio in 2021 that it's just almost mirrors this stuff that was going on in East Texas. It's really wild stuff because people were reporting sightings of creatures in a tree. There's also, I believe, video of that, really grainy video of that. And I've done the FOIA request and I have those reports. And that stuff is really, really interesting stuff. There is more calls. I believe there's more calls that were taken in the Ohio case than there were in this East Texas case. So I'm going to plan on talking about that. I'm going to be talking about the similarities too in that upcoming video. So again, if you're interested in this content, cryptid content, mystery content with actual documentation and not just wild stories of people just, telling outlandish stuff without any documentation, that's fine. There are places for that. But if you want to get some data, some real information that you can sink your teeth into, that you want to dig through, please check out my channel and please consider looking through my Patreon. You can download all the stuff on my Patreon. So please consider checking out that. And yeah, that's going to be it, guys. I really appreciate you watching the video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd like to know what you guys think. So please do that. And I'll talk to you guys soon.